So I love that you take on social media and it examines what a younger generation is going through as far as the things that you just mentioned, identity, establishing yourself amongst your friends, amongst your career circle. So when you were writing the show and you were picking out what elements that you wanted Sasha to kind of live in and focus on, not why did you pick this trauma, but to a degree, why did you go down this particular road? What was it that you felt elevated the story? Because there's lots of different angles that you could have taken with this approach.
Yeah, I think that's a really good question. So I kind of the trauma she's kind of running away from, what she doesn't really want to acknowledge, came from me feeling like, again, this entanglement between like sex work and women being sexual and being slut shamed and all these kind of things. And it made me think about like when I was at secondary school anyway, these, you know, teenage girls that were dating much older men, which is abuse, you know, and we did not frame it like that at all. You know, we kind of thought, oh, this, you know, it's a 13-year-old and she's going out with a 20-year-old. And we're like, so cool. Like he's got a car and he's got this. And it was a totally different perspective on it than that I have now as a woman, you know, looking back, and I'm like, no, that actually was not okay and was illegal. And so I knew I wanted to kind of explore that in her kind of consciousness, and she's done this thing that she thinks she's so to blame for, compared to, you know, actually she was the victim, and that's what she kind of figures out across the series, really, that what she's carried this you know, this oppression on herself and thinking she's kind of bad. It isn't, you know, it's not her fault. So that was kind of where the idea came from, in terms of me wanting to look at this thing that was very much, you know, accepted when I was growing up, of just like having these older men kind of dating, you know, young girls, which I think can be a real issue in communities and is kind of not looked at in the right way. And you end up getting kind of slut shamed, as opposed to going, no, you were exploited, or you know, these young girls are being kind of exploited by men.
You mentioned working in the UK, and that, as Rhonda pointed out, there's stylistic changes and things like that. What was the process like for you to bring this to screen? And then not only just that, for it to make the jump and to be brought across to America. How is that, as a biracial woman in the UK, setting your style standard?
Yeah, I mean, I think because I, you know, was very sure in my vision. I mean, I think people can only really respond to that. I think being as like prepared as possible, which means you're not giving people an opportunity to find a reason to not do what you want to do, kind of giving people no kind of gray area or room for error. So I think that was really important, just being as like prepared as possible. And then, you know, it was COVID, so we had to pitch to American companies on Zoom, and that was a whole thing in itself, you know, really trying to convey the like passion for the project and like not being in the room. And again, it was preparation really. And so we went with BBC America and AMC Plus, and I mean, we had most of the scripts at that point, and I think because I could speak to it so passionately, because they could read the work, we'd started making music already, they could kind of feel what the show was going to be. And, you know, I was very honest about like the kind of show I was making. And, you know, then reading the scripts, you knew that it was kind of all in alignment. So yeah, I guess that was kind of the process.